Hey guys, Tyrup here, bringing you a 1v1 today. We are on Langreskaya. Playing for today, spawning in the north. We have Thien playing as Ostheer. Immediately going for Osttruppen, bringing in a squad of those, but now switching over to Grenadiers, just one squad. Osttruppen. And from the south we have Makros as Soviets, who has Partisans, Guard Rifle Combined Arms, and Guard Motor. In terms of rankings here, we got Thien ranked 20 currently, and Makros around 30. So very important always try to get that wire off early on in the game. Otherwise this building can be a real weapon from the northern side. Can make it very hard to hold on to this area. A lot of wire down from Makros as well. Usually I'll plant maybe one piece here, and then that'll do, but he's gone for the full treatment. MG forcing back the conscripts, but they don't get suppressed over there. And there go the Osttruppen. They didn't have much luck down that side. Sandbags up on the VP as well. In the quite forwards position. Does make it a little bit harder if you're like running out from this side. You have to run all the way out here to get your cover. Could lead to some issues, but see how it goes. You're going to wire that off as well. Sandbags up on the cut-off now as well from Makros. Grenadiers don't do enough damage to interrupt, really. So far the machine gun hasn't been much of a factor for Thien. I think he might have just brought it close enough to the capture circle that it got revealed. It was in the center. So Makros not really engaging too much. Flamer waiting here, hoping that something will pop into this building perhaps. Yeah, very, very slow start to this one. So 2 greens, third one in production, and got Osttruppen as well, so you know, roughly equivalent to a 4 green start. A lot of damage on those Grenadiers. They're going to retreat. Doesn't have enough manpower to start up a bunker. In a very, like low casualty game, so ordinarily going for a mid bunker at this timing along with a 4 green build is not really that viable, but since we've had 2 losses to this point, anything's possible. Pyro Flamer popping for 10, coming in from the side. MG bursts, no suppression. And the Pyros are going down pretty fast. Do force away the combat engineers at least with their Flamer. Pyros doing their best. Catching an extra model or 2 on retreat there. Looks like they're only catching maybe 1 or 2 models with their flamethrower. The rest of the models further back, not taking too much from that. Thought maybe it would have been a good time for Thien to try to close the gap as the conscripts were focused on the pioneers, but he didn't choose to do so. And you know, since Osttruppen do perform so poorly out of cover, maybe that maneuver wouldn't have worked out so well. I haven't played too much Osttruppen, or at all. I haven't played any Osttruppen this patch, so I don't really know how they go. What their performance is like in those closing the distance scenarios. Does manage to get neutralized off. MG in a nice position. Bit slow switching over the focus fire though. So they get into the heavy cover, but they can suppress the combat engineers a little bit further back. Rifle nade onto the conscripts as well. Quite a lot of damage, only 2 models down, and this squad jumps out of the building. Osttruppens coming around the corner. MG not going to last here for much longer though. Grenadiers need to also retreat. That 6 model squad otherwise might be able to get the wipe on them. So finally, after a long stalemate, Thien kind of works his way in. Does a reasonable amount of economic damage. But wow, Makros fast tick up. Put his tick all the way back here, which is a little bit strange. Is is going to be a lightning fast squad. You can see that Thien doesn't even have his tier 2 down yet. When his pies had retreated last, they didn't put down the tier 2. Might be hoping that he can stall for the drop at 3 command points, but it's often a bit of a stretch. Von Ivan was doing a lot of strategies where he's trying to attempt that, but I mean, it can work out sometimes. It kind of just depends on the command point clock and how the game's gone. But given that this game had such a slow start, almost no combat to really accelerate the command points, the first 3.5 minutes, it's not the best in this particular scenario. Could be a wipe on these grenadiers as well. We don't have anything really in the retreat path. Maybe Osttruppen could come across.
The sector has been cut off.
Thought maybe the quad would go around this way a bit more, but content just to force a bunch of retreats. Not going all in. Could also be worried about a mine. I don't know if there's been a sweeper coming up this way. There's one nearby for Makros, but pretty common mine area around here. Might be a concern. Poe's still not planting down tier 2, so yeah, he's going to try stall for that supply drop. Going to be a tough hold though. See, Makros has gone for the Zis. You know, as we can see, that it's not really going to work against Thien, who doesn't look like he's planning to get a light vehicle, but still have the barrage on that, so it's not going to be useless. This barrage is so powerful against support weapons. Maybe this is going to be the wipe from the quad in hot pursuit here. And there we go. Gate retreat from Thien. Grenadier squad down. He's finally got the command points to call on the supply drop. It's coming down now. He's under a tremendous amount of pressure. He decides to just cut and run. With the quad there without an anti-tank gun, he doesn't have a good answer. Also get the MG34 in that. So let's see what Thien can do now.
Enemy forces are
Enough munitions, he could upgrade another grenadier with the LMG. This is nearby. I imagine Makros is like, okay, well, it's quite clear that he's not going to go for a light vehicle, so this is on barrage duty, not an anti-tank duty. Interesting. Osttruppen going off to the side to do some capping down there. Doing the push with the rest of his fighting force. The WMG's coming out now. Another layer of grenadiers, sandbags being planted by the grenadiers. That's one of the big benefits of Osttruppen, is that your grenadiers can plant sandbags thanks to the entrenching tools. Makes them a lot more powerful when they can build their own heavy cover.
The enemy has broken our supply lines.
And wire, as we can see. Team making good use of that.
Mission complete. We are losing a sector.
Okay, second pyro coming in for Thien at this stage. Does have his battle phase up. Curious he's going to go for a second pyro when that looks like it would impact his medium tank timing. And Makros locks into guard motor, fields himself a heavy mortar team. Heavy mortar is a real menace on this map. Kind of just park it in this area. And it just doesn't have to move almost at all. A bit of work there in from the pack. P34 kicking in with the suppression pack left forwards with no support. Only one conscript there to punish though. Mortar going after the MG34s. Building has a demo on it. Thien notices though. Can't hit it. Oh, I think... Is he hitting the building? No, he's not. Is it? Surely he would have hit the demo by now. Oh, I don't know what's going on with that. But he cannot kill that demo charge. He really wants to kill it too, because it's kind of on his retreat path. From the fuel point. Could be trouble. Maybe he could kill it with his pack. I don't know why he wasn't able to kill it there though. Pack, busy though. Going for the sandbag kill.
The sector has been cut off.
Looks like way too far back to be damaging the pyros, right? We've got the conscript sandbags. Quad coming down the side, getting some mines up now, Makros. Incendiary rounds active. Another mine down from Makros. He's also fielded some guards now. Thien going with the Panzer IV. Starting that up now. Do think he could have fielded it a touch earlier though if he didn't build that second squad of pioneers. Not too badly, you know, maybe like 30 seconds or so. Come in for some attack ground magic and misses. Scare shot landing short there. Second shot, not a bad attempt. So now Thien probably getting used to having to... Oh! Exits up, but... Quad. Oh, getting blocked by the trees on the ground. The logs. Getting out of there though. Good activation of the speed boost by Makros. And back in with the quad. He's got the guards, but here comes the Panzer IV arriving at a very good timing. Pack misses again though. He's having a real bad run with that pack. Panzer IV blocks the quad from its getaway. MG spins around for the guards. The conscripts coming in from the side. Pack looks like it's going to get decrewed here. Panzer IV taking a Zis shot on its way past. Oh, big hit from the heavy mortar. That could be a dead machine gun as well. Thien in some big trouble. Doesn't have any reinforcements nearby. Needs to bring these squads in right now. Conscript's going to maybe go for the steal on the MG. That's the easiest one to get away with. Picks up the pack though. That's ambitious. He's got the anti-tank grenade. The Zis is way out the back though. And he doesn't get away with the pack. And eventually the forces do arrive to save the day. I think that was a big mistake from Makros pulling back with the Zis at that early timing. Needed it there to threaten the Panzer IV more. And as well, I mean, if he was going to do what he did, he should have gone for the steal on the MG42, you know, since you could actually retreat that instead of having to run it out just manually, which is much slower. Would have had a much better chance of getting away from the Panzer IV alive with that weapon. So could have been a bit cleaner there from Makros. But that Panzer IV arriving at a pretty fast timing and cutting the reign of terror from that quad short. Just a bunch of wire and sandbags everywhere this game. Only one kill on the heavy mortar so far, strangely enough. Did lead to that decrew earlier, but just doing the lion's share of the damage. Not really getting that many model kills itself. Got tier 4 tier up as well. So Makros going to hang in there for the T-34-85, understandable. There's 4 repaired up. Spinning around though. There's this quite far forwards. So that should have been the green light for the Panzer IV to get some massive work done on this left-hand side. Having seen that Zis on the other side of the map, but instead he rotates across to where the Zis was. Go charge is still there. So the pyros and the machine gun get the job done, and this could be a wipe now. Not quite, very close call. Can't try and get some tripwires there, but thinks better of it with the pyros incoming. Doesn't want to get interrupted. Oh, there we go. Engine damage. We've got the Zis nearby, missing its shot though. T-3485 halfway complete. So this is a good time for Thien to run over that mine. If the T-3485 was already on the field, he'd be in some massive trouble. And wow, Thien getting a second Panzer IV out. And roughly the same time as the first T-3485. That is really good signs for Thien. To of course save a little bit of resources, never building tier 2 or a light vehicle from it, so it's part of the reason why it's kind of saved about 50 fuel by doing that.
Panzer IV is ready for battle.
But, you know, it's only saving if you can hold on to still a similar amount of map control, which is harder to do without the 222. Can't hold on to that territory. There we go, T-3485 making its presence felt. Crushing a sandbag on its way back through the centre. Pack opening up here. Doesn't have much support on that pack though. So far we haven't seen much Zis barrage action from Makros. I feel like that's something he's been missing so far. I'm sure there would have been quite a few good opportunities so far this game. Has been making use of his munitions though. It's just down at 26. So I guess it's been made up for a mine planting. Could have maybe got some more territory control, some more direct input. Second anti-tank gun now coming in for Makros. It's going to make it difficult for Thien to work these double Panzer IVs. Double anti-tank guns on this map can be pretty strong. But I feel like, you know, used to be in the past that Langreskaya and North was always just by far the worst, but these days I feel like I have an easier time, at least in the late game from the North. It's a lot closer of a map these days. So battle phase 3 completed now for Thien. I think that's a very good idea. It looks like he's going to try dig in. He can't get a couple of trenches down. And yeah, up against this kind of support weapon play, a Panzerwerfer would be a very nice option. Thien, comfortable lead in the victory points as well. And continually finding time to come down here and harass. Seems like maybe it shouldn't be that possible, given how many units Makros has, but seems to be having trouble breaking through with his forces. Ooh, big hit from the Panzer IV. Double AT guns. Don't have an angle there thanks to the building. He's camped out in the trench as well. Pack moving quite far forwards here, looking to get aggressive. Could be an idea to try crush this wire so he could jump into this building with these grenadiers. As the Panzer IV was driving through, so not that building. T4 coming up. Oh, big damage onto the Panzer IV, but suppression kicks in before the anti-tank grenade can come through. Oh, he's doing some scouting, checking for mines, I imagine. Doesn't spot any. Even mortar coming down. Makros, having lost his fuel control a few times over the last couple minutes, has really hurt him. Ordinarily, you would expect maybe for another vehicle to be coming through for Makros, but not quite there yet for the S-35 at least. Big damage. Here we go. This barrage ripping in, combining up with the heavy mortar, nearly wiping out both of those support weapons. If that had gone down, Thien would be in some massive trouble. Engineer Flamer left in the center. Looks like that could go down. Well, there we go. One machine gun does go down, in fact. So those combat engineers. Pack hanging on by a thread. And Makros going to be able to steal away that machine gun. Got railway artillery coming down in the center. Just a panic move and doesn't merge into the machine gun to bring up to full strength. I think that's a mistake from Makros. Double Panzer IVs on the side now. Oh, driving forwards, hoping to catch the T-3485. Takes an engine crit. Where are these doubles this? They're on the other side at the moment. Uh-oh. Panzer IV's got the skirts. Oh, the main gun crits! Oh, and that's so unfortunate for Makros. He's brought the double AT guns in from the side. Surely he can take down one of these. Here comes the Werfer, though. There goes the Panzer IV. Oh, pretty good Werfer hit. Takes down one, nearly another. Good start to the action there for Thien. But yeah, you got to be reasonably happy with that, trading a Panzer IV for the T-3485. Especially when your opponent's the one kind of struggling for fuel control. And in the armoured department. Does now have to contend with the extra machine gun though, Thien. And turn that one over. And once the MG42 he turned over as well. Oof. Big hit. MG. Gotta get out of there though. Bunch of mines now getting triggered on the far side. You hit a mine like that, it's kind of dangerous to keep going because odds are there might be like another mine waiting for you at your destination. But Thien's going to take that risk. It'll result in a lost squad, however. A rebuild on the combat engineers for Makros, which is a curious choice. Fuel for a tank there. I'm not sure why he went for another squad of combat engineers. Alright, he's pushing forward. Makros down just over 200 VPs. AT guns lining up on the P4, but quick to back away with that. With a strike, nearly taking down that machine gun. Conscripts coming in from the side, but got a extra grenadier now constructed from Thien.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Holding strong on the cutoff. And Makros getting out of there. He's advanced quite far forwards with his anti-tank guns, but here comes the railway artillery. Makros not hanging about there. Getting out fast. Rifle out. Pretty clumped up, more than usual, so they take quite a lot of damage from that rifle nade. Still strong enough to win the fight though. S-35 now for Makros.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
I mean, Thien doesn't have the most anti-tank. He's got one pack, one Panzer IV. I think a T-3485 is still a fine choice. at the moment, Makros kind of over-investing into anti-tank between 2 anti-tank guns and the Su-85. It's a bit too much. He does still have enough tools though to deal with the rest of Thien's army. But so far I feel like the anti-tank gun positioning hasn't been that strong for Makros. Let's see if we can remedy that. Looking to get the decrew on the heavy mortar, can't quite stick around for long enough. Knows that there's an Su-85 on the field now as well, so Thien can be more evasive with that Panzer IV, not going to get caught off guard. Okay, that's a roof strike into the bread basket. Okay, well, somehow doesn't get the decrew on that heavy mortar. Good range 10 guns, nice connection on the Panzer IV as well. I think he cancelled the LMG on those grenadiers so he could bring in that railway artillery earlier. That's interesting. Concentrating out fast from Makros here. Looks like he's going to come straight down the centre again. Should have a better time of it though, given that, you know, the Panzerwerfer is on cooldown this time. He's ready for rolling forwards. Capping on this edge as well. There he goes, this barrage into the base. A lot of scatter on that. Big health damage. But Thien continuously harassing down here, and it does matter. Makros, he just has enough fuel for another tank.
We must defend our headquarters.
And Thien gonna go for the Brumbier here. That's a very strange choice when you're up against double anti-tank guns and an Su-85 already. I'm very interested to see how this performs, honestly. And it would have been quite nice instead of a extra grenadier to see maybe an artillery field officer get some more value out of the Panzerwerfer with its coordinated barrage. Not the best Werfer strike again. And connecting from the side on the Su-85 though. MG staying pinned here. Really isn't quite deep here. Could get the Faust off. Panzer IV charging ahead. We've got the double exist there. MG Grenadiers focusing down the double anti-tank guns.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
Grenadiers, very dangerous retreat here. Su-85 coming back in. A lot of damage onto the Brumbier. Engine crit as well. Where's the pack going? It's coming out to this side. Spins around now. There's enough here to stop the anti-tank guns pressing in. Su-85 from charging ahead. Could have been disastrous though for Thien. Both his tanks on low. If this pack was slightly less defended, he could have lost the game right there.
Sector. The enemy is taking our territory.
Mortar can focus down here. Makros very aware of the victory points. Pack missing its first shot, unfortunately. Activating target weak point now, but Su-85 backs out of there. Panzer IV back up in action. Brumbier also going to return to service, even though neither of them are quite at full health. Guess it's worth the risk. under fire here though.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
Werfer strike coming in. A lot of scatter on those rockets though. So after a promising start, that Werfer's really slowed down a lot over the last 3 or 4 barrages. Hacked and decrewed here for Thien as well, and immediately destroyed by the AA tank guns on Makros. Yeah, just, I don't know. Brummbär hasn't really got up to much so far, and this is, I feel like, quite a good map for tank destroyers to just blast the Brummbär. Not that many shot blockers, things to hide around the corner and utilize the Brummbär from behind, away from danger. So yeah, I don't know. Don't think that was the best. Now Thien kind of lacking a little bit of anti-tank himself. Maybe Makros could field another tank and get something going. Makros has been struggling to save up the manpower though. And he's getting close. Big hits there from the Su-85. Heavy mortar still on just one model, but that's all it needs. And Makros trying to set up the triple cap himself. I'm not sure why he retreated from over here, from the Grenadiers. Maybe he heard the Brummbär coming. Does have the Su-85 nearby. Double AT guns. So Makros does close the distance. There was another Werfer strike, maybe hearing the repairs in the fog. It's a pretty good scatter on that one. Getting a few units in base, getting a couple extra kills.
Enemy is gaining a foothold. We are down to 300 points.
A lot of time reinforcing back here though. Makros is indeed building that T-3485. And that means he didn't quite have enough manpower to reinforce everything else. Quick to dodge away from the Zis barrage here. Ooh. Close call for the combat engineer, and it doesn't get away. Now a Panther for Thien, so Makros has kind of got this window before the Panther arrives to get a lot of damage done. Let's see what he can manage. Oh boy, Brummbär a little bit slow backing away. Ura anti-tank grenades, and now it's in some big trouble. All the anti-tank rolling in for Makros. T-3485 though, the one focusing on the Brummbär, and it's struggling to penetrate it. It's 3 bounces in a row. He's having a real nightmare. Here comes the Su-85 finally. Double anti-tank guns rolling up from the rear. One more shot and it's dead. Uh-oh, here comes the Panther though. Panther 4 goes down. Brummbär on one shot. And there it goes. Finally gets through the armor. Close range Werfer strike doing some big damage.
We are suffering vehicle losses.
Squad of guards going down there for Makros. Only at 1 combat engineer at the moment as well, so it'll be quite slow repairing up this Su-85. Panther disengaging, did survive. Yeah, that's what I was worried about that entire time for Thien. Once that packet died, it was very vulnerable to an attack like that. One small mistake, you get engine crit on your tank and you're in some big trouble. And that was even with the Panther arriving to try and, you know, make it safe on the tail end. It happened like 30 seconds earlier. Could have been GG right there. But yeah, good idea to try go for a close range Werfer strike. Got some results.
We need to re-establish our supply lines.
And now Thien going to be setting up the triple cap here. You can see the army sizes between the two very similar at the moment. I'd say they are quite similar in strength as well. kind of going to come down to Thien's Werfer barrages now. There he goes. Going for the low angle strike this time. Some big damage with that as well. And wow, the machine gun gets outright destroyed. Huge Werfer strike. It was at about 18, and then in the last 2 strikes it's up to 33 now. So it's a good start for Thien. Gonna help him pull out a bit of a lead. Well, it's Makros on the victory points though. Panther finally repaired up. Like Thien, maybe did he go AFK for a couple of seconds there? Wasn't doing too much for a while. How damage those Osttruppen are doing out in the open there. Heavy mortar probably could have just stayed there, honestly. Wasn't under much of a threat. There you go, Panther coming in. Going to jump into that trench. And Faust connecting on the S285. Got a close range Zis barrage trying to force away these Osttruppen. Go for the cut off, but since he's connected through the center, he's not actually cutting anything off. Oh, here comes another low angle attack. Slightly into the retreat path of the conscripts, nearly takes them down, catches a Zis back there, nearly knocking out 2 units. But speaking of 2 units, 2 pilots go down over here. How did that happen? Did he have? Looks like one of their flamethrowers exploded, or maybe they died to a Molotov. Either way, that's a big hit for Thien. He's going to have to be careful with his Panther. Seems like he's not really that eager to upgrade the machine gun on his tanks as well. I don't think we saw any upgrade on the Brumbier. Hasn't got this one yet on the Panther either. So it feels a little unusual. Just going for the regular T-34-76 Makros. Maybe he's planning some ram action on the Panther. It's a drain from Makros though, about to tick under 100. He's gearing up for a big attack, coming straight down the center. Werfer is ready to fire again, up to 40 kills. Being this clumped up could be devastating for Makros. Decent bit of damage onto the Panther there early. Here comes the Werfer strike though. A little bit deep, a lot of health damage, but not too many kills. Trench finally destroyed. Oh, I don't think Makros noticed the railway artillery. I didn't either. Maybe it was because the Werfer rockets were coming down in that area and all the smoke from that kind of covered up the red smoke. That was a big hit though. Got a conscripts down, and now Makros doesn't really have enough infantry to contest the VPs that well. Tank advancing. Didn't quite get a shot off though. Oh, maybe the Panther coming through to mop things up. Bring the pack up as well. Oh, Panther getting cold feet. He just drove in there with the Panther. That was GG. Instead, gives Makros opportunity to repair and recover. Still going to be very tough for Makros. About to be triple capped now. And he just is so low on infantry. His Werfer strikes have been hitting hard. He's going for the low angle into the base. Decent health damage, but not many kills again. Okay, T-34 is mobilized.
We need to re-establish our supply lines.
Number one priority right now is not building sandbags on cutoff, it's getting on top of these VPs down to 57. The other squad of conscripts coming out. Where's he going? Where's he going? These should be running right onto the victory points. He's heading to the fuel. He's got plenty of fuel. Does not need that at all. 40 points left. Costing Makros valuable seconds in camping time. This is the first time I've seen Makros make use of the smoke as well, which I think is maybe a pretty good idea. He's managed to squeeze together enough manpower to afford another tank. Go for some tank ground action. T-34, oh, the Molotov's coming down as well. Ready to fire again. Smoke bearing off. MG repositioned a little bit further back. Conscripts might be able to get the neutralize off. Nope, Grenadiers going to come back in to jam that. It's ready 5 rolling through the center. There's the Werfer strike again. And it looks like Makros seeing the writing on the wall here. Oh, it's a good Zisparagin. 1 point remaining though. It's too little, too late. And there you go. So yeah, well done by Thien. A little bit risky, that timing, you know, like first off, try to stall for the supply drop at 3 command points. It's tough when you're up against a relatively fast quad timing like that. It's a lot of pressure, but he hung on there. Didn't take too much damage from it in the end. And as well, when he lost his pack, he had like 1 Panzer IV. Very easily could have got overrun in the Brumbier. Even earlier than that. So yeah. I don't know, the Brumbier didn't seem like a very good option once the EC-85 was on the field, and it didn't really seem to do much at all for Thien. But still just had a better preservation of his infantry. Suffered very little in the way of wipes. He lost 1 anti-tank gun, 1 machine gun. A couple pyros right at the end there as well, but that's when he's already kind of cruising along. As for Makros, I think his early game anti-tank gun positioning was quite weak against the that relatively early Panzer IV. Wasn't often in the right place at the right time, and I feel like maybe underutilizing the Zisparage as well. I feel like we almost didn't see any Zisparages in the first like maybe 20-ish minutes of the game. Whereas, yeah, I think we see a lot more in those tournament games and in my games too. So yeah, a couple of things to work on there for Makros, but overall GG, well played between these two. End up being close, you know, there's a couple dangerous pushes here from Makros. Nearly closed the show out against Thien, but he hung in there well. Anyway guys, wrap on that. If you like a game to be cast by me, details are in the video description below. Otherwise I'll catch you all for the next thrilling installment. Goodbye and good luck.